Welcome back, Shimboners. A special edition pod today. We're going to do a Arden Street agenda. We've named it. Some big topics being discussed already. It's only Feb, but we thought we'd better touch base on a few of these, highlighted by what appears to be the staggering mismanagement of George Wardlaw. Now, lots of reports from Riley Beveridge and a few other journos over the last couple of days that with the highlight of that, Chief, which raised a lot of eyebrows, particularly on this podcast, but supporter wide, with our man Clarko just telling George to go out there, roll around, and just get through. Which clearly,
Does he know
if that's the
George?
case, he has no idea about his players.
He should introduce himself to George, or maybe watch him, because George has one speed and one speed only. We all know that's why we love him. That's what we love most about him. He's not going to roll round, go easy, and let some little VFL nuffy from bloody Melbourne beat him to the ball, was he?
No,
No.
it just sums up what's been a bit of a cluster. You know what over the last 6 years now. There was only a short clip. There wasn't a full interview to watch, so you don't get the full context. But those grabs really sound alarm bells, and it shows a lack of understanding of the player. Well, we know George. He's either 100 miles bull at a gate, as you mentioned, or nothing. And I reckon some players on our list, you could say, go out, play a half, roll off half back, have your 15 touches and come off. But George is not that player, and we've seen in the past, previous pre-seasons, he's gone that hard that we've had to actually restrict the amount that he can train. You remember during the
Yes,
season
I
he went
do.
down to only doing 2 sessions because of
Yep.
this.
Yep.
So it's staggering with his hamstring. What worries as well, and what concerns me is that you said you weren't worried about him, and now that's the
Well, I
second
didn't think
time in a
they'd
month.
play him 14 days after he tweaked it.
But
Well, 14 days. Hamstring was always 3 weeks minimum. And with George, it's probably 3 weeks plus one to rest. It's always been 3 weeks minimum, and I don't think sports science has improved that much since the 80s. That it was always a 3 week with a hamstring.
no, so
And certainly George. And Clarko basically, I don't think you've explained it, that he, in his article with the AFL website, he basically defended it playing him.
yeah,
And that's what we're angry about because, once again, it's George, highly valued commodity, who only goes at one speed, as you said, and would not know how to roll around slowly unless it is at training. And as you rightly put, even at training, they had to pull him back. So be aware of your player.
yeah, and even today he's come out and sort of said, "Oh, we could nearly play him not next week, but the week after." But it's just you want your pieces. The pressure he's heaping on this club.
Yep.
It's intensifying as we get closer to the season. Every media outlet has circled the first 6 weeks as winnable. You got
Yep.
to be 3-3 for a pass mark. So you'd
Yep.
want one of your most valuable players, as you just said, George Wardlaw, one of the most crucial pieces, fit and firing. Now, I just wrote down here, like without George, our midfield, I think it lacks intensity. It definitely lacks physicality. Like we probably get that physicality from Parker, but the problem with Luke is love him to death, but at this stage of his career, he's getting burned off by other
Yeah,
mids.
he's a bit
He's a
slow,
bit
and he was
slow.
never a quick midfielder. He's a hard at it midfielder. He's never, even in his prime, he wasn't, I wouldn't say he's quick.
Yeah, but he's been our barometer, George. When we've played well, he's
Yep.
been in there setting the tone early, along with Big X. And for us to rise up the ladder, like the spike that we want to see, we need George playing 15 plus games.
Yeah.
And this is just a shocking start to that. And I think the other mids, as good as they are, LDU, Harry, and Tommy Power, whoever's rolling through there, there's just not that dynamic physicality X factor like we get from George
Yeah.
bursting out of stoppage.
And Clarko did say in his article, to give him credit, that everyone's got 2020 hindsight, but I'm still questioning 14-day rest and to roll him around the VFL game. He may as well run a couple of laps at Arden Street. And
But what's
uh,
the
and he's
biggest?
also said they'll get external help. So it's not just Clarko. The physio must have ticked off on it. The doctors,
Yeah.
Irishman.
Kevin White, he's on the watch list
Yeah,
already.
well, I control the
Well,
watch list,
I'm
thank you,
putting him
Dave.
forward.
You've got the Arden Street agenda. Okay, you can, but I've got the watch list.
Right, to make sure that you don't miss any more content, this is YouTube exclusive. Like the watch list when it comes back. Make sure you subscribe on YouTube. Thank you to everyone who has. Takes about 5 seconds. We want to hit 1,000 subscribers by Good Friday. help us out. It doesn't cost anything. The button is just down below. We appreciate everyone who has. Yeah, so just to tie a bow on it, like it's just a devastating blow.
I didn't like the fact that Clarko tried to defend playing him. I mean, with Clarko supporters, so don't get us wrong there, but they should never played him
No.
in a VFL bloody scratch match.
But do you reckon he's copping a bit of the blow for the medical team?
Maybe,
But he's
and
under enough bloody pressure as it
yeah,
is.
maybe. But I think as head coach, well, I suppose they say he's right to go. But really, I wouldn't have ticked him off medically.
No. And the benefit isn't really
If it
there.
was a final, I would have. And well, clearly he did it, but it wasn't a final. It was a bloody first match simulation.
A VFL match simulation at that.
3 weeks prior to our first game, and now he's going to miss our first game against Port, which is very winnable. And if we lose that, imagine if we lose that narrowly.
Yeah,
And you think, gee, we could have used George.
he'll be sick.
Yeah,
He'll be Terry Wallacing everywhere.
yeah,
But let's with George as well. I think we spoke off air that I don't think he can play VFL again. You just got to bring him straight in and manage his minutes, and the fifth on the bench will help that he
yeah.
can play 40 or 50% game time.
I was going to say, you can say bring him back through the VFL, but why? He's going to go to 100%. Might as well go 100% at AFL, and you can manage his minutes. 5 on the bench, you can play 40% game time. Just
Yeah.
come on in bursts.
And you bring him on, if I'm in charge, you bring him on 10 minutes into a quarter when the
Yeah.
mids are a bit slow, the sting's gone out at the start of the game,
Yeah.
and he can be a difference maker there.
I mean, we're not physios or doctors or anything, but I imagine hamstrings are when you're going hard and low at the ball. He's still going to do that, but he won't be doing it under fatigue because he will have managed minutes. So he want to run 10 minutes, 100 metres up and back, and then have to explode. That's what we're looking for. But we want him cherry ripe, but it's a bit of a question mark, his hammies.
Yeah, it's a devastating blow that we're not going to have him more than likely in the first round. So let's talk about some other big news, and that is what was broken by Sam Edmund on SEN yesterday around the board concerns with Andrew Harrison, another high-profile member of the board, with very big concerns around where we're going, and that the pressure will definitely start to mount. It already is, but it's going to only intensify if we are to start poorly. They want to see major change, basically, is what was being said.
Yeah, I don't get involved in the politics. I'm here for football.
No, I know. I'm just reporting what's been said.
Yeah,
for
well, I mean, the
people.
board, they don't get a kick. They don't do anything. I think they could probably be a bit more vocal against the AFL. I don't know what they're doing behind the scenes, but I like to see them fight harder for us. But I think because we're on the AFL food, we get the food stamps from the AFL, get some money from
Well,
them.
we're in net positive. Like
Yeah, but all
St
clubs
Kilda
get it. But that includes us, what we get from the AFL, the dividend.
yeah, well, St Kilda are $12 million in debt, and they're vocal about academies and
That's what I like our pres and the board to be more vocal about. I mean, we won't go over old ground of what we got handed by the AFL when we historically won less games than anyone, and we got peanuts. Yet the Gold Coast got filet mignon a few years ago, and
well, the big thing is
you wait if Carlton or Essendon or anyone, or West Coast got better than us, and they're the richest club in the bloody world, pretty much.
pretty much. What percentage lies with the players in the footy department is what I've put. Like, I think club wide, there's been this acceptance that we're on a journey. There hasn't been that ruthlessness to get better. Like, yes, we're rebuilding, but the way that it seemed to permeate through that it's okay to lose.
Yeah.
And like you hear it in interviews and that, there's almost an acknowledgement that, yeah, we're going to lose. It doesn't seem to be that ruthless edge that we
Well,
really
you
need.
compare them to Hawthorn, who we hate, but what do they say? We're here to win premierships.
Exactly.
We don't seem to hear that from ours.
Even
And like Nick Larkey, he said in his interview, he's been there for, 10 years? I don't know how long he's been there.
yeah, it'd be about that.
About 10 years, and they've always been the bottom. I mean, that's a long time. That's more than most careers.
Exactly right.
And anyway, we've had one match sim, but they better fire up on Sunday.
Absolutely, they better. But yeah, that was my other sort of question. Is the messaging ruthless enough? And if there is clamps on Clarko, like the different media, you cannot tell. But
No.
they sort of like to, but it's time to release him if there is. Like,
I hope-
I think he's in big trouble if we don't start well. So why not let him go?
You and I have been watching a lot of the Giants from 7+, their doco, and I'd like to think Clarko goes pretty hard at times because certainly, what's his name? Adam Kingsley does.
Yeah.
He stares them in the eye and they don't speak back to him because
No,
he's ready to thump them
and
if
he's
they
got
do. And
he
it's
doesn't miss a weight session either.
no,
Let me tell you.
and
Uh,
that's worth watching if you're an AFL supporter. I mean, obviously we've got nothing to do with the Giants, but it's just a reasonable insight into the runnings of the club.
yeah, and that shows the accountability for them too. Because my man Tobias, who I'm a big fan of, Toby Green, he certainly cops a
He
fair whack
did.
from the coach, and he's the captain as
And
well.
he's normally pretty good on the lip. He didn't answer back.
No,
Shouldn't say anything.
but this pressure that we're talking about is going to continue to rise. The easiest way to stop it:
Win.
win games of
Just
football.
win, compete, and win.
Our
If you
David,
lose, be competitive right up to your last breath.
our Davis. What did he used to say? Do you remember?
No,
Just win, baby. He was the former Raiders coach. Yeah, you don't know much about
no,
NFL.
you're going on the NFL.
Uh,
Doesn't give a crap about
some
NFL.
other news. Obviously, we've got our preseason signing, SSP signing in Tom. I'm going to butcher this. How do you reckon you say it? Blamires?
Yeah, Blamires. Yeah, or Blamires.
Blamires.
I don't know.
We'll work. We'll have to reach out to Tom and figure out the pronunciation. But he's been picked up with our final list spot from the Frankston VFL, won the best young player there. And funny stat, the last 19 players who have all made it to senior list. So
Yep.
congratulations to him.
Keeps the streak going.
Keeps the streak. Looks like he's a 23-year-old. Looks like he can be able to bounce off halfback, be a good user and a bit of pace for us, which we desperately need. So congratulations to him. And I
Yep.
saw just before we started recording, Chief, that he's been selected to play against Collingwood this week. So
Yep.
whether that'll
Backup.
be some of them have from the preseason I've watched so far, there's usually two or three players that only play a quarter or maybe a half. But I'd like to see him get the opportunity to play the whole game and see where he is, especially with no Riley Hardiman, who's
Yeah, he's going to have to come in and fill that type of role.
mm. But yeah, speaking of Hardiman, probably good news, just the 2 to 3 weeks, so he's still a chance to play round one,
Yep.
which is a big sigh of relief because when it was a bit innocuous, and I didn't say this on last week's pod, but it almost looked like a bit of a syndesmosis we saw with Eddie Ford, and I was thinking, oh, because
Mm.
they take a long time to recover
Yeah.
from. So good news that it was
That's
just
good
a
news.
mental roll.
Possible round one. Elmac, possible round one.
Yep,
Colby, lock him in, I reckon, round one.
yep. Taylor Goad, was it 4 to 5 weeks? I think. So,
Yeah, round six,
yeah.
probably. Round four, VFL.
Yeah, I don't know. I'd be one game in the twos and get him straight in, I reckon. But anyway, and then some other news before we finish up this quick edition of the Arden Street Agenda, which sort of thought of on the fly.
Yeah,
Uh,
I
your
like
man
it. I like
Jackson,
it.
your man
About
Jackson
time you brought
Archer,
something.
your man Jackson Archer expected to sign a 2-year extension. I think it was the Tuma who reported that,
Yeah.
or was it Xander? Maguire,
Well,
one of the two, doesn't matter.
long-term listeners, when you asked me when he first did it, I said he'll be signed. I said, don't worry about it.
Yeah,
And 2 years is good.
I agree. Gives him
He's young enough. Keep going.
a year to sort of work his way back. And the other thing I like about the 2 years is we have no lockdown defenders
No.
to play on those Cozzy Pickett medium to small sizes. I mean, he's out of his depth a little bit playing on those tops, but
Yeah, they're
you
too
tell you
quick.
what
They're
you
too
get.
quick for him, but
You get 100%
he'll,
freaking
he'll
out, but
compete to the death.
geez, we could use him
Yeah.
this year. But no, really good to see Jacko rewarded. As we've seen a little bit is the trend, they'll give players an opportunity to recover who have been injury riddled, and that sort of puts the spotlight on this year with Josh Goder and Braden George being the two there that have had really injury riddled pasts. But we know the talent, so we really need those guys to come on, particularly Goder, I think,
Yeah,
because of
we're
the
all waiting for
the
him
need.
with our fingers crossed. Right, anything else?
No, I've got
This
nothing
quick
else.
edition. You've calmed down from your rant.
Oh, I'm glad we didn't do this morning because I was wound up like a clock this morning. But yeah, look, it's going to be a massive first couple of weeks
Well,
of the footy season, and I will say, like, I the part I enjoy about doing the podcast most is just the daily interactions with our loyal listeners, and I reckon there was probably 30 or 40 today just discussing, it feels different this preseason. The amount of expectation and pressure to rise up is immense, and there's already a level of discontent from our supporter base about
yeah,
what's happening so far, and it's shit really because we're in late Feb and people are already not over it, but just the level of concerns raising people's anxiety around the footy club and the pressure is well and truly on. So all I hope is that we start like a bull at a gate, and
yeah,
the signs that I want to see start this week. Like go out there. the easiest way to ease member frustration, put a performance against Collingwood that
Yep.
wins and losses, it'd be lovely to win, but I just want to see a style of footy that's attacking, that's good to watch, and that really is going to take it up to the best. So we
And
can't get blown out.
two-way running and just competitive. I want to see us win one-on-ones.
Mm.
We lost way too many last time.
And no injury or suspension.
No, obviously. And I mean, the AFL's gifted us the best draw we've had in living memory. And this is the angriest I've seen the North fans, faithful. Like, the time is now.
The time is now.
I knew you'd like that.
John's Bina.
But it is. We're fed up with it. When, the rebuild can't go on forever. It's time to see some results.
Yeah,
And we're not expecting top four, but we're not expecting bottom four. We've got to get out of the cellar,
well, we have to.
and especially with this draw being gifted.
Exactly right.
But we won't get it again next year.
Oh shit, no. Yeah, so make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss any of our content throughout the year when we just randomly drop stuff like today.
Yep. And what are we doing on Sunday?
We will be going live, so I'm thinking the first half.
First half
First
live.
half against the Pies will be going live because that way, if it goes not as expected, we probably
What if we
don't
win?
get cancelled in the second half.
What if we're 10 goals up?
Oh, then we'll just keep it going.
Okay.
We'll
Let
keep
go
it rolling. But yeah, stay tuned for that. There'll
we
be
got IT support on standby.
No, we'll be right.
This is where you struggle.
We'll be right.
And you're on your own because I give no help.
Yeah, we'll be right. And then
Okay.
there's on YouTube Live, there'll be a comment section so you can leave your thoughts below.
And we'll
and
comment
we
on them,
can,
will we?
Yeah,
You're running the show.
we'll work it out as we go. But
Yeah, okay.
no, it'll be a good bit of fun. So if you're not doing much, join that as we watch along. But yeah, big game down in Ballarat.
Yep.
Enjoy everyone who's going. Hopefully it's I was just saying before in the Melbourne Richmond game there was lightning in Ballarat, so hopefully you get a bit better weather come Sunday. But yeah, looking forward to it and hoping that we can come back next week and have a bit more positivity towards the season, seeing it officially hasn't begun yet.
No, that's right. And we're glass half full all the time, but there's a few concerns. And I think that's why there's rumblings about the board because the supporter base is fed up. So you get, people want change.
Yeah.
They want, and the win will be the change, and we'll be happy if we start winning. Anyway,
I forgot to mention too, there was like prominent former players, like big name former players who were sort of behind those two members that were really
yeah, okay.
with growing frustration and looking for change if things don't start the way we want them to.
Yeah.
So,
All right.
for a bit added context.
Yeah. Well, it's all up to the footy department, I think. They've got to perform.
Time for talking's over.
Yep. All right, we'll sign off. Let's beat the Pies. Barrackingers.
Thanks for tuning in once again, guys. We will talk soon. Until then, go Roos.